I'm gonna make this one real fast. Are you ready? Let's do it. So I woke up today at around, I think, 8 o'clock. And at 8 o'clock, I was so tired. I needed some water. Yummy. Then my mom asked, "Yo, Noah, could you please make some egg McMuffins?" And I was like, "I got you, fam." So I made the egg McMuffins and we ate them. Yum. The only problem was my mom needed to be at work, so she asked if she could have hers without bacon or mayonnaise with the bread. So, of course, I had to oblige. As soon as I was done, she had to grab it and go. I didn't need to be at work until around 11. So, of course, I divvied mine up with some mayonnaise, some bacon, and some cheese. It was pretty good. Now, after eating it, it was time to go and, I'm having a hard time remembering everything that happened after eating the sandwich. Well, let's just move on to work. Not gonna lie, I was pretty gosh dang reserved today. Didn't really talk a whole lot. I think maybe a lot of it had to do with me just, I don't know, not feeling it. I wasn't really in a woohoo mood today. I was more in a mood. There you go. Although there was a few interesting things that happened. One of the more interesting things, I suppose, was that there was a lady who had a baby, and she almost dropped the baby on the floor. That's pretty messed up, not gonna lie. Don't like it at all. Don't worry, it was an accident. She wasn't doing it intentionally. In fact, the whole thing was she had the baby in one of those rolling carriages, but she tried to attach the rolling carriage onto the cart that she was using to shop, which her toddler son was on. Those gray carts where the kid can sit on the seat in the front. But trying to do this, it ended up causing the carriage to tip over forward. She was able to grab it immediately before the baby could fall out, but it was such a close call that me and the cashier did this. Yeah, it could have went ugly fast. That baby could have been permanently disabled for life if it weren't for that quick catch. Probably the more interesting story of the day. After that, yeah, it was fine. Said hello to all my coworkers. Tried to be chill today, not too spastic like I can be a lot of the time. Of course, sometimes I get surprised and then I go, "Ah!" Like, for example, there was a coworker who made a pig noise like in front of my ear when I didn't notice. And by the time I got to react to it, I was like, "Ah!" And everyone laughed because it was funny. And I will agree, it was quite funny the way I yelled like, "Ah!" So, well played, pig sound man. After that, lunch was interesting because I was arriving from work in my car, and when I got out, my mom had the ladder in front of the front door, so I had to go under the ladder if I wanted to get in the house. But on top of that, she was working on a windpipe attachment, and she accidentally cut one of the wind chimes off and was trying to tie it together. I helped her with two things. She got a new carpet for the front door. The original carpet we had, it was hard to open the door in and out because the carpet would always get in the way because it was way too thick. But this new carpet was thinner, so it was able to add style to the entrance while being thin enough to open and close the door. Very nice. But she needed my help getting the old carpet out because she had installed the original carpet right under one of the foots of a heavy wooden drawer that's right next to our front door. So I had to get on my back, use my heels of my feet, and push the drawer up so she could push the mat out. It was a successful mission. Oh yes. Then she wanted me to help undo a knot for a wind chime that she tied that she wasn't satisfied with. So I helped her with that too. But time was running short and I wanted to eat. Now, thankfully, she did make some lamb chops from last night for dinner that I wasn't able to eat because I was asleep by the time they were cooked. So I had them for lunch today. And I was warming that up, and my mom kept on asking for help while I was cooking my food. And, I'm always one to help my mom, but when I'm, cooking, I'm trying to put my attention to make sure things don't burn or I don't leave, like, things unattended on the stove. So I told her, no, I'm busy. I'm trying to cook this food. Yes, I would have helped if I wasn't cooking, and also if I wasn't on a time limit. Those two things definitely make it hard to really, put it all in. But I did help with the other two things, so that was nice. After I was done cooking the lamb chops, I ate them while watching a new Homestar Runner video on YouTube, which is an old Flash animated series that I used to watch all the time when I was a kid back in the early 2000s. And the people who made it, who they call themselves the Brothers Chaps, they basically worked on it nonstop throughout the early 2000s because it was sort of their mainstream of income and recognition throughout that time, because there really hadn't been any direct to internet Flash show like Homestar Runner. And they always consistently upload a new animation like every other week on their website. And it was a lot of fun. Like, it was a really enjoyable cartoon from what I remember. Of course, around the late 2000s and early 2010s, they managed to accumulate such a resume, over a decade's worth of work, that they were able to get hired on writing for actual cartoon shows. So things like they started off with Yo Gabba Gabba, which was a preschool show, but then they moved on to other shows. I think one of the more notable ones, if I'm not mistaken, was Gravity Falls. And I think they also worked on, I think it was the Aquabats show, where they basically played a live action version of one of the Homestar Runner characters, Strong Bad, which is pretty funny and cool to see, especially for a longtime fan like me. Since they had to work in the entertainment industry instead of making independent animated shorts like they normally did, they no longer had time to consistently upload and update their channel like they used to. But they did start releasing very infrequent new cartoons and videos for their website. The problem, though, is that as time went on, Flash no longer became supported in modern versions of the internet, which meant that their old way of delivering the internet based entertainment was no longer viable in the modern era, where practically there's only like a few major like websites that people access through apps on their phones anyways. Like the era of like unique individual websites that you can go to that were uniquely crafted are over, and people just use one or two major platforms to advertise something that they've made and show it to people. And that's basically what the new Homestar Runner short on their YouTube channel was. That's where they post all their new content, their YouTube channel. And it was a pretty cool little duet between Strong Bad, one of the major characters from the cartoon, and Homestar Runner, where they basically were singing about how websites used to exist and they don't anymore. And it was pretty cool. I liked it. Yeah, it was a nice little throwback. Well, anyways, after I was done with the lamb chops, I started devouring some gummy worms with, I think this like hot pepper on it or something. I forget what it was called. And they were really addictive, too addictive. I nearly ate the whole box. Yeah, I definitely don't want those in the house anymore. Otherwise, I'm going to become a fat boy. And then I had 2 Recess peanut butter eggs. They were already open. I didn't open them. Someone else opened them, so I thought, well, I guess that's the green light to eat them, right? And I always love a good Recess peanut butter chocolate. Anyways, after that, I kissed my mom goodbye while she was on her phone. Yeah, she was reminiscing on them old videos after finding them on her phone. But anyways, I drove from home to work. And yeah, pretty average rest of the day. Most of the check stands were taken up, and that practically meant I had to go out and wipe down windows or check stands or do go backs. So usually when that happens, it can be quite meandering, but you just do what you can, right? Instead of standing around, which gets very boring fast and doesn't help the store. If you want to help the store, then you gotta play your part. Yes. Anyways, after the last 4 hours of work, which was alright, I punched out. One of our neighbors just so happened to see me on my way out, and she was basically talking about how, like, I'm a really good son to my mom and how, like, I always help her out and all that good stuff. And it was to one of my managers and to one of my favorite co-workers. Oh, yeah. And it made me want to do a little dance like, mm, 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 mm. So yeah, that was pretty cool. Made them chuckle a bit. That was awesome. Then drove home, listened to a new Area 52 video, which is a UFO-centric podcast on my phone while eating dinner, which consisted of half of a steak given to me by our family friend, and the rest of those gummy worms, and a recess chocolate egg, and Cheerios. Very eclectic dinner, I know. Yeah, and I found this new feature on YouTube for premium members only. It's called 3x mode, which means you can listen to stuff not double speed, but triple speed. And I can still understand what they're saying, so I just choose that one now, especially if it's something that's like 3 hours long, because I'd rather spend like 1 hour listening to something than 3 hours listening to it, because while I find the subject very fascinating and interesting, I also value my time and I want it to hurry along because I'd rather get to other things to listen to, you know. But yeah, after listening to that, I took my vitamins, brushed my teeth, and kissed my mom, our family friend, and the family cats. Good night. And by the way, for those of you who are big fans of our eldest orange cat, Avery, he's 16 today. It's his birthday. So be sure to wish him a happy birthday. Yeah, I'm recording this to end my day, and I'm going to go to sleep very soon after this. Thank you for sticking around and listening to the very end. Very much appreciated, and have yourselves a great rest of your day. Goodbye, everybody.